So we're going live now.
We're going live. We're going to be
Oh,
live on all of them, I think.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. We are solid. We're there. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the True Life podcast with Anja Zibert. Aloha, dear audience, friends and family, and those watching. I hope that you are in. I hope you got your seatbelts buckled because I've got an incredible show for you today. A beacon of transformation, a beacon of light in the realm of global HR and recruiting, a global beacon of light in the world, wherever she finds herself, just shining light on everybody. She's not your typical expert. She's a modern ambassador of change, firm in her belief that our past experiences do not define us. It's the present and the potential we see for ourselves tomorrow that truly shape who we are today. Anya sees the world through the lens of connectivity, understanding that as human beings, we are intricately linked by the vibrational energies we emit. This philosophy led her to establish Free Spirit Human Capital, a company with a mission to empower HR professionals, teams, and job seekers with a holistic approach that transcends traditional human resources. With a focus on personal and spiritual growth, Anya emphasizes that HR is not merely about resources, but about the profound relations and connections between individuals on a deeper energetic level. Her vision is clear: to build a bridge between talents and employers, fostering long-term synergies based on mutual understanding and vibrational alignment. And ladies and gentlemen, let me bring her on the stage right now. Anya, thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
Hello, good morning. Well, it's almost 10 past 8 a.m. on this side of the world. So I'm a little bit sleepy, but I'm like really like super pumped about this conversation. So and I woke up with a sore throat. And I was
Mm.
like, no, 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 here comes my medicine, I'm talking, I'm talking to George and like all
Yeah.
everything what I'm doing, this is my medicine. And I really wow, like my energy really recharges, I became I mean, I usually I come or I get into a flow state when I'm
Right.
talking about stuff that I'm doing. So yeah, I'm great.
Fantastic. Me too. I'm excited to talk to you. I think that you have some really amazing ideas about the way in which we attract ourselves to that which we do. And for so long, that seems to be a point of contention. I know that for me, it's really easy to get lost who you are and what you do. But it seems to me like before we dive into that, though, maybe you could give people a little bit of a background about who you were before you became who you are today.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, like when I look back,
Hmm.
it's like I had like 4 or 5 different lives,
Yeah.
completely different lives, different locations, different people, different dreams. And I think that, yeah, usually I say that everything started in 2005 when I was in England. I lived in England for a while, and I got myself in the middle of like this crazy Twilight Zone style story, where I was selling books door to door in England. Yeah, that was
That's
insane
awesome.
experience. It was insane experience, but I found out like I didn't understand what the hell was going on, but I found out that I could feel like intensely feel people around me.
Yeah.
And when I was selling books door to door, like it was really really painful for me because I could feel everything what they felt. And when somebody knocks
Yeah.
on your door and you open it,
Yeah.
they're like you're not like, hey, let's have a party. Yeah, you
Yeah.
finally came. And yeah, it was challenging time, but it was a milestone in my self discovery. So that happened. And one of the milestone was also when I was editing my MySpace profile. That's also one part of the story that is super important. I was like in England, in Bristol, when I lived. One evening, I was just I was doing something on my laptop. I was actually editing my MySpace profile. You know
Mhm.
MySpace, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
We've been all using MySpace, and Tom was our first friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was editing my MySpace profile, and I was like, okay, what should be my username? What should
Mm.
I present myself? And then this voice came into my head. It's like, Anya, you're free spirit. It's like, that's nice. Let's be free spirit. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't have a clue what that means. But when I look back at everything, like they were like milestones on like little crumbs, on my
Yeah.
path. So, that started free spirit. Just okay, Anya free spirit. And I was like everywhere where I was online, I was like Anya free spirit. Yeah, I didn't even think about it. But then in 2011, I really felt that I would like to have a tattoo, free spirit. So I decided to have like this big tattoo on my back, which got like free spirit and like few symbols and stuff.
Mm.
And then 2020, I founded Free Spirit Human Capital Company. Like I can tell you the story how that
Yeah.
happened, which was pretty crazy as well, and basically after I lost my last job, it was the middle of pandemic. So in 1st of April, yeah, April, I lost, like I got, I fired from my last
Yeah.
job because, of
Good.
course, yeah, because the company, yeah, they closed down because of pandemic and
Mhm.
everything. And at that time, I think I was like business development manager in a recruitment company,
Mhm.
but I was also recruiting. But of course, they wanted me to do it like their way. Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, okay. I was like still in the box, and I was thinking completely different, but I
Right.
was still in the box. I got a mortgage. I have then it was 3 years ago, a 60-year-old son. And okay, my life was falling apart. But anyway, I
Yeah,
was
I know
still
it.
in the box. And yeah, when I lost that job, then afterwards, I got a lot of other offers, but they all offered me like, oh, you want to be like recruiter, or sales person or what. I was like, no, I don't feel that. And everybody were like, are you crazy? You need a job. Just take it. It's like, no, I don't feel it. I'm not gonna take
Yeah.
it. So it was really difficult because this inner battle and the world outside, it was really pressuring me. But there was I think it was July. I know it was really hot,
Mhm.
and I was sitting at home, just randomly browsing my phone. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I was doing. It was just like I remember I still have that phone, like it's right there in that drawer, but it was little like iPhone 7.
Mhm.
Like it was a small one, yeah, because
Yeah.
now there are bigger ones. But I was just browsing there, and then suddenly I don't know, like I realized that I was in the notes, like where
Yeah.
you put the notes in. And I kind of like, I wrote all like the whole business model for my future company. There was also a name, it was a business model, there were prices, like there were like text, like what should I put on my website. And I was reading this like, when the hell did I wrote, like when did I write this,
Yeah.
and I guess it was channeled, it was automatic, because I don't remember
Yeah.
writing it,
Yep.
but it was there, and it was a clear signal, what I should do. And everybody thought I'm crazy, absolutely crazy, but I did it. Like a month later, I opened my own company. So I started Free Spirit Human Capital, and most of the texts that are on my website, it was from that moment. So I mean, that was like the official beginning, yeah.
Mhm. Right.
But I believe, like, even before, like I said, there were so many like this breadcrumbs on my path. But
Yeah.
who I was before, it was somebody like, I wanted to be a perfect mom. I wanted to be a
Mhm.
perfect, partner. And everywhere I went, like to work, I wanted to give 100%, but they wanted from me 150. I
Yeah.
gave them almost like 150. They wanted 200. I
Yep.
gave them 200, and it's like I almost died because I
Yeah.
had like few burnouts,
Yeah.
and I didn't know how to set boundaries. I
Yep.
didn't understand, what was my purpose. I just thought I'm here to please people. Yeah, that was my, previous life.
Yeah.
And when I started, like self discovery, and it was not, we say like, oh yeah, that was crucial moment, or everything changed.
Mm.
And I thought, oh yeah, I know I will do this, and then everything will change. But no, it was just a, piece of the puzzle. So there was a change,
Yeah.
and then, it just projected me in some like different direction. So I was following that. So basically, I'm following my intuition now, and I didn't know how to do that before. So
It's mind blowing. Like my friend, what's up? My friend Griggs over here, he's commenting. Like him and I, everything you're saying, both him and I have almost had, we've had very similar paths. All three of us, both of us, both my friend and I left the company we were working for reasons that were beyond our control. I ended up leaving the same way. Like I felt as if I was given like 150, and they were like, "We want 500." And I'm like, "I can't give you 500. I don't have it." And we parted ways. And when I look back on that change, it was both liberating and frightening on some levels, because all of a sudden you're faced with this uncertainty. And in the beginning of your story, when you started saying the world was pushing you to find this other thing, or the world constantly tries to fit you back into a mold. Like, hey, we got this free thing over, we got to put them back into a mold, or we got to fit them in somewhere. But if you can resist that, I think that is when a lot of the magic happens. Like, you're forced to grow at that point in time. You can either retreat back and try to fit in a place that you'll never fit in anymore, because you were moved from that spot, from whether it was your own doing or a bigger force or whatever you want to believe happened. Like, you don't fit there anymore. The world's trying to convey to you, like, look, you got a new spot and you got to figure out where you fit in. And uh,
yeah,
before we
and,
start,
and they
yeah, we
take
can.
you for they take you for granted because they're used to it. You always did it like this. So
Yes.
what the hell happened? Like, no, like you cannot say no. Like, we know that you're gonna say yes.
Yeah.
No. So
That's exactly how it was. There's like aghast. How dare you tell me
how
no?
dare you?
You
Yeah,
you know, and it's like, no. And the louder you get, and then the more offended they get. And on
yeah.
some level, I think that they're afraid of the contagion. I think they're afraid that that'll spread to everyone else. And I hope it does. I hope more people stand up and say no.
Yeah, or I'm usually it's like that. Like when you do something that is
Hmm.
against their beliefs, like it's shaken up their beliefs.
Yes. Yep.
And this is like this activates this primal fear.
Yeah.
So I think like now how I see people, how I see situation, when I come
Hmm.
into the company or whatever, and they are starting to become like, oh, scared, like, oh, what the hell is going to happen, or when I'm talking to leaders, and
Right.
they are like super, I don't know how to explain, but there are a lot of people who are working on themselves, and like trying to be spiritual. We are
Yeah.
all spiritual in by
Yeah.
default, by the way, because we're
Yeah.
spiritual beings. But the thing is, like, there's so many leaders, so many CEOs, whatever. They are going to retreats, they're
Yeah.
like
Totally.
spending so much money on their like personal and spiritual growth, but they do shit in
Yeah.
companies,
Yeah.
for their employees. And I was like,
Yep.
how the hell does that fit into
Yeah.
this, this reality that you are creating? Because if you are working all this, like, you are creating a ripple effect, and then when you come
Yeah.
into your own company and you do not support people and you like with their spiritual and personal growth, then
Right.
you are a hypocrite. Sorry,
Yep.
then
Yeah.
then you are not what you are saying you are. And this is where I come in. But anyway, I just changed the
I love it.
topic. But yeah,
That's
that was
perfect. It's
yeah.
perfect. I think it's totally relevant. I think that a lot of people are feeling that right now. And, we see the idea of people trying, I think it's always been with us, but this idea of trying to spend money to buy the newest thing for the idea of productivity. Oh, people buy the idea of productivity, but they don't really want to do any of the work. People at the top, not all the people, but it seems to me, whether you're at the top or at the bottom, it's really easy to blame the other side. And when we do that, we fail to do the work in ourselves. We fail to become the best version of ourselves. And if we're a leader, we have to be the best version of ourselves so we can inspire other people and people will want to follow the way we're doing it. But you know what? You had mentioned a couple of things, right? First off, when you were knocking on doors, you could feel the energy of people, and like I know that feeling. What is that? Is that the heart vibration? Is that like an aura? Like, what do you think that is when you could feel the vibration of other people?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also, I don't know if you're familiar with heart math. Like, have you heard of heart math? Heart
I
Math
haven't.
Institute. Yeah, okay, Heart Math
Okay,
Institute. Like, just check it out
I
because it's
will.
amazing. It's a scientific, it's a scientific company
Okay,
from California. Basically,
nice.
they have been researching magnetic field of our hearts and heart coherence
Okay.
for I think around 30 years now. And I'm trainer. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
official certified trainer for activating the heart of teams in the companies or in the groups, because I was really, drawn to do that
Yeah.
and called for to do that. But anyway, like what I learned there is that every single person, what is something that we really have in common? We have heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our heart radiates the electromagnetic field that it's called, it can be called like torus, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
in our electromagnetic field, we have our thoughts, our emotions, attitude. So basically, it's like an imprint and everything, that is like within us.
Yeah.
So we have this electromagnetic field around us. And when we come into interaction, like when we interact with other people, we, of course, yeah, our electromagnetic field also interact, but all together we are creating this amazing collective field, collective energetic field. So whatever happened, like for example, today, even because in quantum field there is no location, there is no time, there is no location. So like even if we are not physically together right now, I can feel your energy, yeah, and people
Yeah. Vice
can
versa.
definitely feel the energy that we are radiating.
Right.
But just, and for example, for empath, yeah, empath, that means that, okay, like based on human design or whatever, like it
Right.
really doesn't matter what kind of how to say, like foundation, to explain something you use. But empath, that means that you have this solar plexus,
Right.
um, it can be chakra or like energy center or whatever, it's open. So basically you are really open for other people, to
Yeah.
feelings, but you also are very open with emotions and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's really challenging if you are like that and you don't understand what the hell is going on, because you
Yeah.
feel things that are not yours. And
Mm.
this is really, really powerful when you get this self awareness
Yeah.
and you understand a lot of stuff. And it's like, oh shit, this is not mine. So when I was knocking on doors and when people were opening doors and I could feel that anger and basic, like, I mean, when I was, oh my gosh, because one part when I was working, when
Yeah.
I was knocking on doors, it was really industrial part of the town. So it was very, I mean, I really don't want to. I'm all, unity or whatever, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
live in the world, like we live on planet Earth. There are
Right.
a lot of differences also in statuses. I mean, like in income. So it was a
Yeah.
low income area.
Yeah.
So whenever I, knocked on the door, it's like when somebody opened, you could see that there has like 1 million things on their mind. And
Yep.
maybe there's like, I don't know, like a single mom taking for, about her baby, or there's this guy, he just woke up because he worked a night shift or whatever. And it was absolutely surreal. Like how much I felt, I was like, why am I feeling like this? It
Yeah.
was so exhausting. And yeah, after a month, I mean, after 3 weeks or something, my body started, showing also like
Yeah.
signs, and I got seizures and I got sick, and I didn't understand. I was like, this is not the place where I should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very powerful. It was very powerful, and I think I had to go through that, just to
Yep.
experience, you know
Yep.
just to experience. I mean, there were a lot of different experiences. There were a lot of different situations where I also, kind of felt, oh my God, like this really, really intense negative emotions, from other people. Yeah.
Right.
But this is one of the stories, that I'm sharing now publicly.
Where did the awareness come from? Like, first off, I think that it makes so much sense. I was just showing my kid the other day, like, like we had these magnets, and I'm like, what is that? Like when you put the opposite poles, like you can feel the polarity. Like what is that? But as soon as you started talking about the heart magnetic, the magnetic resonance or the magnetic electromagnetic field which we carry, it makes so much sense because obviously you would be attracted or you would be repelled, and you can feel that the same way you can feel the two magnets, the same way as the feeling you get with other people, or at least I do. And where was the awareness at for you though? At what point did the awareness come in? Like, this isn't mine to carry. This is somebody else's. Like, that's a pretty
No,
mind blowing thing. How did you figure that out?
I mean, at that point, definitely not. That was like in 2005. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was in this mindset, okay, this is my job. I have to do it
Right.
no matter
Right.
what. I
Yep.
cannot fail anyone. I cannot disappoint people. I
Yeah.
have to prove, that I can do it. It's like, Jesus Christ, it was really, there was a lot of pressure. And I
Yeah.
had no idea about awareness, about anything, like what the hell is going on.
Yes.
That came later. Yeah, that came later. I think like one of the biggest milestone in that way, it was 2017 when I first went to past life regression.
Okay.
And I went there with few really, just general questions. Oh, why my boyfriend doesn't love me, or
Yeah.
okay, why I have like such a weird relationship with my grandparents, or whatever, like stuff like that.
Totally.
But no, I got like really, really, really profound answers and experiences, and I saw myself when I was really, I actually saw myself as a Native American. I was a Native American woman, and I saw myself committing suicide. And I saw the
Whoa.
whole process. I went to like, we're gonna touch this topic anyway, like
Yeah.
life, between lives. So what happened there? And I got really, really, really clear message that at that time I didn't understand. Actually, like it like my life started crumble after that. But at that point, everything what I was doing in my life, because I was brought up as this nice, kind girl, I was super successful first in elementary school, then in high school, like my rebellious side, it came, it came
Yeah.
like really, it was really, really obvious. So the world rejected me then. And that was pretty tough also for me, because I didn't want to be in the box in high school already. And
Mhm.
I had to go through some really difficult situations. So they put me back in the box by by the end of high school or something like that.
Mm.
It was kind of, it was difficult for my young soul back then. But what I was trying to say is like,
Yeah.
when you are on this self discovery path,
Yeah.
um it's not only roses and sunshine. It's never roses and sunshine. It's
Yeah.
like, when you get one information, it trembles, it like shake up like everything who you used to be. So I was this like really good girl in my world. Like, I
Mhm.
wanted to be good for my parents. I wanted to be good for my friends. I wanted to be good for everyone around me, because of course we all that have that. Most of us, we carry that shit around, from
Yeah.
our like young childhood, like inner child. Oh,
Yep.
you were lacking that, this, whatever. So basically, that was my world. And I wanted to please everyone around me. Yeah. Because if I make other people happy, then I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my belief. And in that, when I went life after, like life between lives,
Mm-hmm.
um, I got this message from my guides or whoever they were. I don't,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know who they were, but the thing was that it's Anya. It's not sustainable. It will not go. You cannot continue like this.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
cannot. So first of all, you need to realize something. You cannot be happy for other people. It's like you cannot make other people happy if
Yeah.
you are not fulfilled. This was the message, because it was like, oh, if I'm happy, if I make other people happy, then I'm happy. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to first fulfill yourself. You have to be the center of happiness, and then you radiate whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. You cannot influence, you cannot change people, you cannot make them happy, but you can be who you are. You can radiate their happiness, and then they decide, like, what
Yeah.
they want to do with it. And yeah, now it's like, I'm happy. I can show you how easy it is to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
happy. And then,
Right.
I can show you that. Like, do you want me to show you? Cool. Like, I'm here. I can do that for you. But it's not like conditioning anymore. There's no more conditioning. Like, oh, I want to see, I'm miserable now, but I want to make you happy. I want to see the smile on your face. Then I'm going to be happy. No, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. It has to be vice versa. Like, I'm on top of the world, not always, of course, but I am what I am. I found this magic recipe.
Mm-hmm.
I can share that with you. Like, would you like to have it? Would you like to have it? Cool. But then, of course, I feel even more fulfilled when that actually happens. It- like, after this realization,
Yeah.
I can tell you, George, like you lose your identity. Like, seriously, when somebody's saying, "Hey, for the last I don't know, 34 years or whatever, you've been living the wrong way. Now it's time to change. Now you have to live the other way, like, just switch the concept." It's like,
Yeah.
how? How
Yeah.
can I do that? I have no idea. So it was like from 2017, it was fucking you know
I
it was
do.
a walk. Yeah, it was
I
a
know.
walk, not among roses and sunshine, but it was like that, true dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
but it was it was a rewarding journey. Absolutely. I ended my relationship. I lost my house. A lot of friends like left my life.
Yeah.
Then at some point, I completely lost contact with my parents because they couldn't accept who, like, what I did, like when I finished my relationship, and everything,
Yeah.
like all the decisions that I was following my intuition. I was scared. I was
Yep.
really, really scared, but I did it anyway. But now everything is building, oh my God, even in better way that I could have ever imagined. So I know that I did the right thing. But at some point, I was really, really, really exhausted. I was like, can you please now give me a break?
Yes.
I need, I did everything. I did everything, like
Yes.
when you do something good,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you see, like, okay, now, now it's gonna be like, this is the breaking point, and something, happens, like, shit. And what I also learned, and that was also the message, that when some situations are repeating, and with
Mm-hmm.
me, it was like I found myself in a situation that I needed money, or like something, because when I left my house, which was, super modern and luxurious life and blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and I moved into this small apartment, and I left everything to my ex-partner, and I started from scratch, from like scratch. And we like I was working hard on myself
Yeah.
also to to remain good friend with my ex so we can have a very respectful
Sure.
relationship, yeah, because of my son, but also because of us, yeah,
Yeah.
and because I want to show to the world that it's possible to
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
And yeah, but the thing
Mhm.
is that I always, when I was this kind of position, some opportunity came that, brought a lot of money with it, but I would have to sell my soul. I
Mm.
would have to somehow bend my own values and beliefs of whatever. And I was like, no, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do that. And people who are like around is like, Anya, this is repeating. There's a pattern. Like there's something that there's a lesson that you should learn. But no, I was still doing it. And the thing is that I got again, like the voice in my head, the
Yeah.
intuition, whatever, the guides. They're like, no, like when you are repeating something, when you are repeating a skill, you become a master.
Yeah.
So, this is different perspective of failure or whatever.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was pretty fascinating. So I accepted. I was like, okay, I never thought it like that. So I
Yeah.
accepted. Bring it on. Let's do it.
I love it. For those people listening to this, if you're listening to this, this has probably either happened to you or very well could happen to you. And it's how do you describe the feeling of embracing that inner voice or your guides or listening to your heart when you're constantly offered a ticket back to the place you were? Like sometimes that temptation will come like, oh, how about here's an opportunity to go right back where you were. Would you like that? And you have to turn it down, like, because it's wrong. But like everyone around you is like screaming, like, just what are you talking about? Why just take it back? You can have it all back. And you're like, I don't want it. It's like a test. I think that the world is testing you, like, you want it now? How about now? How about now?
Yeah.
Now that you're crying in your bedroom on your knees because you're going to lose everything, now do you want it back? And the answer is no, I don't want it back. I want to be better. And that's when I think the world begins to build a new foundation for you. But it tests you. Like, and why shouldn't it test you? It should test you because otherwise you're not ready. Like you have to listen with both ears to that voice and be like, okay, yeah, I am scared of my fucking mind about this. Yeah, I could lose everything. Yes, okay, and I've made peace with it. I'm still scared of it, but I'm going to keep walking towards this thing that I love, and it's going to be better. Like you have to rebuild the way you think about your life. Like how you know it's first off, thank you for sharing that. I think it's beautiful and it's wonderful, and I hope that more people get to do it. Right? Like it's kind of it's a cool story to get to tell about yourself and your kids and the. Okay, so here's my question and all of my ranting here. Okay, here's my question.
Just do
Do you
it.
think that looking back, you were being taught for 30 years or 25 years, this is what it looks like? You want to make everyone else happy? Okay, go ahead. See if you can do it. And it's a test, right? Like, and you tried with all of your heart to make everybody happy, but you couldn't. Was it a test? Looking back, how do you look at it? Was it a test or how do you see it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love
I
it.
don't know if you're, yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with human design. Like, have you heard of human design
I
before?
gotta study it because I've heard a little bit, and the more I hear about it, the more I'm being pulled to investigate it. So maybe can you help me out? Maybe you can teach me and some
Yeah,
of the
I mean,
audience what it is.
we're not gonna, yeah, we cannot, like, I don't
We
want to go
can't
like
deep dive,
really deep
right?
because it
Okay,
can be quite complicated.
okay,
But I just started working with this amazing company, Human Design AI, which is combining human design and artificial intelligence. It's
awesome.
absolutely amazing. So
Okay,
whoever is listening to this, like, I really recommend you to check out the site. I'm a
what's the site called?
it's Human Design AI.
Okay,
So
okay,
yeah, human design AI. And we have created, I mean, like our expert have created
yeah,
this AI assistant,
okay,
Bella, which is a grandmother,
beautiful name.
like, ancestor, like they have a lot of wisdom. So basically, like whatever, when you create your own chart based on your birth data, and when you create your own chart and you have no idea what the hell, is it saying, like you can ask Bella, you can ask everything about your chart, and you have amazing information that you can use for your life exactly in this moment. Because human design, it gives you so much clarity. It gave me so much clarity. And one of the things, it was also my profile, which is, first of all, type is generator. That means that my sacral energetic system is defined. That means that I have unlimited access to my creative or life energy. Yeah. So whenever I work, whenever I do something that I really, really like, that is connected to passion, that it
Hmm.
fulfills me, I generate extra energy for the world as well. And that was super cool, because I really, I found myself in that. But people who don't know who that they are generators, they know that they can work a lot, and usually
Yeah.
they do in companies, but they don't know how to set boundaries. They just think, oh, I can work a lot, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to have another project? Yeah, I'm not tired, I can do this. But like the really the biggest lesson, it is that they learn, or we learn, how to set boundaries. And my profile is 3-5, which means it's like a phoenix. Yeah. It's like rising from the ashes. So
Mm.
experimenting with life. So falling a lot of times, but every time when we rise up, we have more wisdom. And
Mm.
we are here to share this wisdom with the world. And so
Mm.
my life is a lot of failures. I mean, failures, in an earth sense of
Yeah.
like 3D way of thinking.
Right.
So basically, I had a lot of times like my dreams were shattered, because I had a lot of different dreams, and
Yeah.
they were shattered. But like through that transformation, through that realization, I saw, no, I have, something else exists. Like, I got like this clear pathway to different dreams, which were even bigger, but they were not in my area of awareness before. You know what
Right.
I mean? So
Yeah, I do.
basically, when my soul is expanding, when my consciousness is expanding, also the field of opportunities and what I see is possible is expanding. So
Right.
I'm super grateful, and everything what I went through in the past is definitely now piece of the puzzle, also
Yeah.
in this story, the wisdom that I'm here to share. So
Yeah. It's the cosmic joke. I'm sure that there's got to be some force bigger than we can possibly know. Maybe us ourselves
oh, we
looking
are,
down and
we
things,
are, but we
right?
all also decided that, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, because we are here to expand. We are spiritual beings in human bodies.
Yeah.
That's the fact. Because everything what I experienced, everything what I saw, also in past life regression, also afterwards, I had a lot of
Hmm.
experiences. This is really my way of living now. It's not like I believe. It goes so beyond that. I am. This
Yeah.
is the way I am today. This is the way of, how I live. And it's embedded in me. This is like I embodied everything what I'm saying already. So basically, it's yeah, it's I don't know. And people, they need to understand that we really are spiritual being in human form, and we are here to experience. We are here to experience emotions. We are here to experience different
Mhm.
situations. We are here to experience relationships, and also we are here to experience duality. You
Right.
know, how can we see? Yes, body is the soul vehicle. Yes, of course it is. And the thing is that we are here to experience different things. And how can we know what is good if we don't know what is bad? How can we know what is dark if we don't know what is light? How can we know, like when we are happy if we don't know when we are sad? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like we are here to experience that so our soul can expand, because we are here for the expansion of our soul. I really, really, I know that, based on my experiences, based on everything I know, I can share that. If
Yeah.
somebody resonates with that, take it. Like, take bits of pieces of today's conversation and use it in your way. If you don't resonate that, like with that, I don't, that's absolutely fine. Like there's no judgment or anything. You have your own truth, and I respect
Yeah.
that. I really came to a point. I really respect everyone truth, everyone. So, but this is the way how I live, and I want to be who I am. And since I'm being who I am, I'm truly being who I am, it's paying off. Like my life is becoming, this crazy Star Trek fairy tale that I have never imagined. And but yeah, we're here. And this is probably the reason that we are talking, and the octopus movement and everything. We just
Yes.
find each other.
Yeah.
So
It's uncanny the way in which our stories align. So many of us. When I started
yeah,
listening to people, I'm like, man, I think of that Roberta Flack song where strumming my pain with his fingers. Like it's the same story that's happening to us. And oh my God, you used to do that to people? That's what I do to people. Like it's so weird to think that there's maybe it's not weird to think, but it's comforting to know that there's others out there that are realizing a similar path and finding the same treasures that you're finding and picking them up and looking at them and trying to make sense of them. And it's so rewarding to know that there's other people out there that are doing that and you can find them. Like they're probably, what's that old quote that says, what you're seeking is seeking you? Like I found
mm,
that one to be pretty
absolutely.
comfortable too, right?
Yeah, yeah. What you manifest, it's already manifested. Like what you want to get, what you already see in your mind or in your heart, it's already manifested in some parallel reality. You just have to align this vibrational frequency. And if it's really coming from the heart, not only from your
Mm-hmm.
mind, then it's going to happen sooner or later. And I know that, I mean, you had conversation with Shanaz. Yeah, Shanaz, my
Yeah, I
friend,
love
like
her. She's so awesome.
she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So how we met? Okay, let me tell you this story. So
Okay.
I was on a way here in Slovenia, and I was in a way to this lake, and I was in a car for like 2 hours, and I was listening to her. She was a guest at one podcast. It was
Uh-huh.
Elizabeth April. Do you know her? Like, have you heard of her, Elizabeth April? She's pretty cool chick as well.
I will. I'll check her
Um,
out.
yeah. She has this. I would say like galactic federation and alien. Like she's a
Yeah.
channeler, so she's channeling. Galactic Federation, and she's a remote viewer, uh, really, really sharing profound information for humanity. She's playing super important role in raising collective consciousness. So basically, I was in my car and I was listening to this conversation. You know, listening, super fascinating woman, okay, cool. But then like at first she was this like she was discussing and explaining her story first as an engineer,
Right.
and then I was like, okay, yeah, that's really fascinating. And then she started with the that she's a quantum spiritual coach, and I was like, and something hit me. I was like, oh my god, like you can really, there's a person that lives in both worlds and combining the both worlds, what I'm doing in a way, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I'm also like combining this
Yeah.
HR world or business world with the spirituality.
Yeah.
So when I was listening to this conversation, I was blown away. And this voice came into my head. It's just like, you gotta meet her. It's like, how? It's like, I'm nobody. How can I meet, like this superstar, super important person? No, you gotta meet her. You have to find a way. So I actually I think it was a day later or something. I was like, okay, I'm gonna check if she's on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
is my main platform to
Great.
communicate, and I have a few content there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I sent her a message like, listen, I was listening to this podcast. I think it's absolutely amazing, and yeah, like really, really cool content, and I respect you for everything what I heard. Yeah, let's connect and empower each other and raise collective consciousness together. And then one thing led to another, and we met on Zoom for a short chat,
Yeah.
and it was it was instant connection. I cannot even describe, but when we started exchanging our energies, it was like we recognized each other from somewhere else, like, previous life or whatever, but it was instant connection. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. And she was like, yeah, this is amazing. So that's how we met. And now we have all this crazy stuff together. We also have this just ask quantum
Yeah.
podcast, and we are chatting. We are talking about our experiences. We are sharing the wisdom with the public. We are creating super cool programs together. And it's like, oh my God, it's like. So I know somebody from NASA. She's a rocket engineer, and she's also a quantum spiritual coach.
Yeah.
And but the thing is that she's not the only one. I have a lot of amazing people around in my life. So when I like make a review of my life, like what is happening, like, oh my God, I could either I don't know, like write a book or make a movie out of it. Like what is possible?
Yeah.
But the thing is also that I want to show people that I can connect you to all these people. Like
Right.
everything is, like everything what I have, you can have. Like
Yep.
that's why I'm here. I want to bring this world to you because this is possible.
Yep.
And yeah, let's see how it unfolds. But it's been magical, man. It's been really magical.
It's fascinating to see that journey. And I think there's the time we're at too. Like it's so amazing to build online. Like everybody can see your journey, Anya. Like everybody can see it happen. Like it's so fresh. It's like the fresh tracks of people who go skiing. Like you still see them. You know what I mean? On
Yeah.
some level, when I know when I was growing up and I would read history books, like wow, I wonder what it's like to be that person. And you're like, oh well, and you just come up with this fantasy, and we still do it. Like, oh, they probably had that, and they probably got this thing, but every now and then you would read a biography about someone who made it themselves. Like, wow, that person actually did it. Like they started here and now they're over here. But like, right, we're seeing it in real time right now. Like your story is a real time version of someone who's done it. And it's so inspiring because I think other people can see it in real time. And like that's the beauty of building online and the time we're in. Like I'm sure other people could see it with their friend groups, but maybe you could speak to this idea of the transformation that we're in, just the fact that it's happening so fast. Like what do you think about this sort of transition that we're in right now? Is it because we're moving into Aquarius, or is it because the earth's magnetic pole is shifting, or is it just a consciousness that we are going through as individuals? What is this transformation we're in? Maybe you could talk about that.
I mean, we definitely can talk about that, but I think it started a while ago. I don't
Hmm.
know. I wasn't really, diving deep into this information, but I think it was around 2012.
Right, the Mayan calendar.
Um, yeah, I think so. But like the main shift, it happened in pandemic in
Mm,
2020.
right.
That was the breaking point for a lot of people because a
Yes.
lot of people started asking themselves, who am I and what am I doing here?
Yep.
This is, when people start asking this, like I call it, and a lot of people call it spiritual awakening, but a lot of people, they don't want to use this word, but they are going through spiritual awakening process, even if they don't want to talk about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
They are rejecting the idea or whatever because it doesn't fit in
Yeah.
their reality, but it's happening. And
Yeah.
when I'm talking to people, when I'm supporting people, when they are looking for new career, when they are thinking like when they don't know how to present themselves, whether they don't know, oh, I've been working in a bank for last 20 years, I don't feel like working there anymore, what the
Yeah.
hell is my option?
Mm,
So that's where I come in, because what I'm doing also, I'm helping people who are going through spiritual awakening process,
right.
to integrate that energy part of the, human existence, like that spiritual being that is within them, or they are,
Yeah.
like I help them integrate that with their expert being. So whatever they did in 20, 30 years or whatever of their existence, like this working experiences. Yeah. This is like their expert being and the potential that they carry, like either that they were employed or they were doing it for hobbies or whatever, but they know something. They have so much wisdom and they have so
Yeah.
many skills and they don't even realize it.
Yeah.
So when I integrate that with their soul talents, with their energy being, when I take them to this path of self discovery, and I help them combine everything. Sure, there's like, oh my God, okay, this is who I am. This is what I know. This is why I'm here.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, when I think like even before pandemic and now, until, yeah, I would say like from 2020 to now, or like even before, like, they were working on themselves
Yeah.
already, like
Yep.
whether they went through some very traumatic experience, or they lost their job or whatever. But the challenge, what I see is that people are going to workshops, they are reading books, they are listening to podcasts, but they don't know how to put that thing in action, because
Yes.
the thought, it needs to have, first of all, this thought, the wish or whatever, it needs to have emotional charge.
Yep.
It needs to be emotionally charged, but it also needs to be followed by an action step, and people really don't do that action step, like they don't know how to do it, or they are afraid. So it's
Yes.
like, and whenever I start talking to people, and it's like, and here they were like, oh, I already know that, I already know that. It's like, yeah, in
Yeah. Push
theory.
them.
So exactly, so why are, like, I'm not pushing them, it's just like I'm just showing them,
I know. I know you are.
because I know that you are super wise. I know that you know everything, but for God's sake, you have to do something. Yeah. Like you cannot present yourself to future employer or to the world, based on your past, because past version of you, it doesn't exist anymore. If you went through personal transformation, if you went to for career transformation or whatever, spiritual transformation, past version of you does not exist anymore. So you cannot present yourself on LinkedIn, on CV or whatever. You cannot present yourself like that.
Yeah.
For example, my ability is also that I can feel the energy of written things. I can feel the energy of LinkedIn. I can feel the energy of email. I can feel the energy of job ad, of CV. That's my ability. And I see when there is no energy match when I meet this person, and when I, what how is he or she presenting to the world. And it's quite fascinating, when you go on this level,
Yeah.
what you can discover and how you can actually do things. Yeah.
Yeah. It it makes me excited for the future. If we look at it like there's just things that happen. So I just got funded for this company that I'm building by a VC company called Awake. And like, what are the chances of that happening? You know what I mean? Like, it's so funny.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but like you just the hints are all around us. Like the hints that there's a bigger force working. Like, what are the chances of the company be called Awake? It's like, oh, it's spiritual awakening. Like when you begin seeing the patterns, they're everywhere, right? Like, oh, that totally makes sense. I can see that pattern. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I do. I like what you said. I know that maybe you're not the person pushing people out of the plane, but I think the world will push you out of the plane when you're ready, right? Like there's that old saying that
And
says
we are here to support them. This is our
yes,
message.
the first
This
one's
is
over the
they
wall.
are not alone. They are not alone. Like my message is, or what am I also doing? What are you doing? We are
Yep.
all creating this psychological safe space
Yep.
for people to show up who they really are.
Yes.
And we are spiritual beings. We
Yep.
carry inner wisdom. We carry these amazing abilities. And now, this times when the frequency of the world, is also changing,
Yep.
a lot of people, they're unlocking their abilities
Yep.
and they don't
Yep.
know what the hell is going on,
Yes.
especially if you're a part of the company that is putting you in a box and is like, oh shit, I see aura of my boss, how the hell can I explain that? But
Yeah.
like in my world, this is possible. You are talking about this also in working environment because you are allowed to be who you are, you know?
Yeah, I
So,
do.
yeah.
It's you touched on when people come to you, like it is scary to do something for 40 years, whether you're a bank teller or a truck driver. If you've done something for 30, if you've done something for 10, 15, 20, 40 years, all of a sudden your identity is wrapped up in what you've done. That's kind of that's a difficult knot to untie, right? Like how do you help people do that?
Well, first of all, they need to realize that past does not define
Yes.
them or
Yeah.
us. It
Right.
doesn't, like it's a huge part of us. It's a huge part of our transformation.
Mhm.
It really is a piece of the puzzle, but it does not define us. It does not, especially what we are doing, it does not define us.
Right.
But in the world that we live in, we are so used to put stickers on our foreheads. Yeah.
Yes.
So I like, who are you? Oh, I am a CEO of this company. No, you are so much more than that.
Yes.
So it's like,
Yep.
or oh, I am I don't know, marketing manager. Like I've been marketing manager for 20 years. Of course I'm a marketing manager. No, you're not. Like
Yeah.
if somebody takes away that from you, like who you are. And people, they are lost. They are
Yep.
lost when they don't have these titles, that when
Yep.
they cannot identify with something from outside, they are completely lost.
Yep.
And I'm very gentle, like with providing this
Yeah.
information or like with supporting them, but in a way I'm super straightforward. I
Mhm.
really I don't like, fluff or just like, you
Right.
have to do it. Like I can guide you because that's why I'm a mentor, or I'm not certified coach, but I'm a mentor and I'm a
Yeah.
trainer. Yeah,
Yeah.
I call
I
myself
can see
that.
it.
I mean, yeah. So
Mhm.
basically, what I'm doing, I'm really supporting people based on practical experiences, and I show them how to do this practical stuff. Because, okay, theory is one thing, but I'm all about action. I'm all about action. And I think, like when you mentioned before, we are not pushing people. No, we are creating this psychological safe space. Absolutely. And what I believe and what I see and how I feel, things are going is like, whoever, there are a lot of people that they already realize who they are.
Yeah.
They already realize their inner power. They know that they have power for change, but they are still afraid to do it. It's not going to be easy for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really not good, because this inner battle, like the soul, is going to be louder and louder. Voices are going to be louder and louder, and it's not going to be easy. Like you have to take the step into unknown. You
Mhm.
have to. That's why we are here. So what is also one thing, I mean, it's it is scary. It's
It
definitely
is.
scary. But
Yeah.
when you think about, we are, like we started, we are emitting energy. So how I'm doing also in the company is like, your vibe attracts your tribe. Yeah. So
Yeah.
more authentic you are, like the vibe that you are
Love it.
radiating, then you're gonna attract the right people. You're gonna attract the
Mm.
right, circumstances. You're gonna attract your tribe sooner or later, and you are going to attract your support system.
Yeah.
So they will accept you and they will support you in this, also spiritual development journey, and it's going to be so much easier. But people, like, that cannot happen if they are not ready to show themselves. Yeah,
Mhm.
you have to show who you are.
Yeah.
Like you have to express yourself so that energy can be felt. You
Yeah.
cannot expect, to close yourself, I don't know, in some small room, and then, okay, listen to a lot of podcasts and attend online workshops, read books, and then wait for magic to happen. It will not,
Right.
because you have to interact. You have to share this wisdom. You have to share this energy. Whatever we get to share.
Yes.
That is, that is the whole point. And
Yep.
yeah, it's not, it's definitely not the right way anymore to push in any way or shape or form,
Right. Right.
but it's more attract or create,
Mm.
because expecting, and we have to realize something, that everyone has their own journey. Also, people around us, we are on different levels of our journey, and
Right.
everyone can decide about their own journey. We cannot drag them, to some direction that we want. We
Right.
cannot expect them to change, like their bosses or, business partners or employees or whatever. No, but you have to be the most authentic version of yourself, and then you see how people around you react, and
Yep.
then all the clutter can go away. And yeah, that's the way how I'm doing it, also in my personal life and in business, in my own company, and also in companies that I'm helping.
I love it. You're great at it. And you had mentioned earlier about being a mentor. I think that, there's really cool things that people can get certified at, or they can go to school and learn. But there's also certain things that only develop inside of you. And these comes from lived experience, and there's no substitute for it. I don't care how long you go to school, I don't care what certificate you have. If this thing that you're really good at develops inside of you, then you can teach people about it. But you can't until then. You can learn about it and you can read about it and you can pretend about it. But when something inside of you develops, that's the gift. Like, and that's when you become a mentor. And I think for a long time in our society, we have, maybe because it was easier, or maybe because we love people so much, or we don't want to feel hurt. It probably comes from a good place, but we have decided that you can get a certification about something without actually having to go through it. And I think we're starting to
Yeah.
see the end of that now. It's like, hey, that was beautiful, but the truth is, you gotta learn the hard way, and that's the lived experience. And it is hard and it's scary, but it's also beautiful. It's also beautiful to be part of that transition and to know what you're capable of. And I hope more people find the little gift that's left outside their house, the trail of flowers, and they follow it. They smell the roses and they start following that trail that may seem a little dangerous or forbidden, but they can't. They're glued to it and they keep walking out to it because that's the path. When you get on the path, it's calling to you. And I love that you said that. I think that I know a lot of coaches, but I only know a few mentors, and you're one of them. It's beautiful. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have many certificates. I mean, I only have one, which is for heart math, activating the heart
Yeah.
of teams, because I was never called, into this spiral. Oh, you have to have this certificate, so
Hmm.
people will value you, and you have
Yes.
this and this and this, or oh, I want to be this coach or whatever. No, I was never. I don't see things like that. Like whoever had, like perfect, that's their
Yeah.
journey.
Um,
But for me, I don't care about certificates.
yeah.
I really don't care. They don't mean anything to me. But
Right.
with the heart math,
Mm.
I just wanted to have this activating the heart of teams program. It's self-explanatory anyway. So
Yeah.
basically, so what you're doing, like, like how does this work? Like, I can tell you, it's just, when you see the company, you don't see the company as a group of people, but you see as a group of energies, because we
Mm.
are all interacting on this level. And when you bring down to this human level, like, I don't care if it's a CEO or like the owner of the company who's generating 8-figure or 9-figure or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Right.
He or she is a human being. So when you go to this level, it there are completely different rules, and I prefer these rules than the other ones. So I'm not, yeah, I'm not success chaser, or in that way that we were taught, or like that
Right.
most of the people are still doing. um but I'm living in a little bit different world, and I see a lot people that are following this path, that they
Yeah.
don't have to hustle, they don't have to, yeah, they don't have to be or create hierarchy and like this systems that people are,
Yeah.
yeah, that people are not allowed to be human.
They're like
So
systems of unhappiness, like so much of hustle culture on some level, so much of trying to climb to the top of the ladder only to find the ladder's up against the wrong wall. It's like,
yeah,
oh man, I
I mean,
climbed this thing.
it's their way. It's their way. I'm just showing it can be done
Yeah.
differently. So
Yeah.
yeah, so like I never had a company that that was generating like 8 figure or whatever. It's like, okay, why? I probably, some decisions that I made in my past, they could probably lead me there, but
Mm,
I wasn't, I wouldn't, it wouldn't be aligned with who I am today. So I know now, and everything, all the messages that are coming to me, I can honestly say I believe I am on a way to generate 8 figures, but in my way.
right.
Yeah. In a way that some people, they have absolutely no idea it's possible, because they think it's utterly impossible. But I already see
Yeah.
what is possible, and I know that this heart-centered business and attracting customers, not pushing them, or like, for example, like if we can touch this um digital marketing and growth
Yeah.
hacking and all the manipulation and everything,
Yeah.
this is so like far away from everything what I'm doing, like what I really am. So I'm not using a lot of that also in my business, and everything is organic, like
Yeah.
everything what I created until today, like the community. For example, I'm also like local in Slovenia, which had only like 2 million people, but I just, I created this Facebook group to connect people and companies based on vibrational frequencies, and there are like 1,800 people in there, just like that, like without any advertising or whatever. So just imagine what would happen if I would start advertising what I'm doing, because what I'm doing now
Yeah.
is only like through this podcast or whatever. I never advertised anything. I only had, like, when I started my campaigning in summer or something, I was advertising this mentorship program, but only for a while, because there's so many people, because I was also offering consult, like free empowerment calls, for
Hmm.
people who wants to change their career. But there were so many people that I had to stop. Like after a month, I had to stop my campaign because I couldn't cope with it. I was like, oh shit, I'm back again. Like there are so many people. I have to deal with this. Like I don't want to work. I don't want to overwork. I don't want to
Yeah.
hustle. I don't want to sacrifice my well-being for the money. I don't want to do that anymore. So I have set really, really clear boundaries, and this is the way how I'm building empire and wealth now. So yeah, but also of course working a lot on my
Yeah.
self-awareness, on my spiritual journey, empowering others, but also I'm empowering myself with the wisdom from others, like you yourself. You are such an inspiration, George. So thank
Thank
you.
you for the kind words. It comes
Yeah.
right back. Like you said, we like attracts like. Water seeks its own level. And I
Yeah.
like what you said about alignment. When and here's a question for you. When you had mentioned that when you see people, you see their energy, regardless of what position they have. Can you
Mhm.
also see the difference in the energy between the goals of the company and the people working there? Is that like
Oh
something that
yeah.
you can see too? Maybe you can talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, goals of the company, they usually come from the leadership, yeah, from
Right.
the ownership. Yeah.
Yep.
So basically what I see is the biggest gap or challenge or whatever, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not aligned with the goals of people. So that's why, there's no this inner motivation. They are not,
Yeah.
and I don't call really, I rarely now I'm stop using the word motivation, because I prefer inspiration.
Okay,
Because
good.
if it's inspiration, it comes from spirit. Yeah, you are
Mm-hmm.
inspired, and your spirit is inspired. Like your spirit is, moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And when people are inspired, they are more productive.
Mm-hmm.
When people are motivated, it's only for short term.
Yeah.
uh, and usually when people are working, and when I'm talking to companies, is also there are two questions. So when I'm talking to leaders or whatever, it's like, or whoever is, if they want to recruit somebody, it's like I'm asking them, so you want to find somebody that is working for you or with you? Yeah,
That's such a good
because
question.
yeah, but it changes everything.
Yeah.
It changes everything. And also, it put everything into different perspective, also the message. Because, if you're looking for somebody who is who you want to work for you, you are radiating that energy anyway. So like your message should be clear. But if you're looking also something, somebody that it will be working with you,
Mm-hmm.
you can use that in your message, you can use that in your job ad, you can use that,
Yeah.
that's radiating your company's culture. And this is only one sentence. It's so simple, when you think about it, but it can change absolutely everything. So when you go into a company and you ask people, hey, do you think you're working for the company or with the company? Like whatever people will say, that will show what kind of company is it.
Mm-hmm.
No? So
Do you think that the fact that you speak multiple languages and speak them all really well has an effect on the way in which you can understand people's motivations?
you mean multiple languages in a way like English, Slovenian, da, 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 or multiple languages
How many
on a
languages do you
spiritual
speak?
level? Yeah, I mean, I
How
only
how many
speak
lang-
like actively. Yeah, I only speak two, like actively two languages. But the thing is, like, I don't even need to speak anything, because
Right.
I can feel, like,
Right.
maybe with few words or whatever, I can feel the energy of the person when they open the heart. If they don't open their heart, if
Right.
we don't connect by heart, I cannot help them. This is how I do it. And when I come into, when I go into companies, I can see, or when
Mhm.
I start talking to people, I can see if they are in this thriving mode, or if they are in surviving mode, or like if the company,
Yeah.
everything what they are doing, like if their leadership is based on fear, or
Mm.
it is based on their something else like love. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
because
totally.
it's really fascinating, yeah, when you go on this level. But when you, for example, when you ask people, like, how many companies out there are asking people, like employees, so these are people who are contributing, to companies goals. So basically
Yeah.
they are supporting the realization of the owner's dreams.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a great way
period.
to put it.
So exactly, so how many company owners or CEOs or whatever are actually asking people, but not only middle management, but everybody from production worker, to everyone, like how many people are actually asked, like, what are your dreams? How company can help you to realize your dreams? Can you tell me, like, do you want to buy a new house? Like, what are your challenges? Like, do you want to travel? How can our company support you to realize your dreams, to fulfill your dreams? Like, this is the crucial question, because there's
Right.
always a transaction. But now in today's world, it goes one way. Yeah, but I don't believe it like that. It like it's an energy exchange. And there's this contract that the company, I mean, the employee people are there to present or to be added value for the existence of the company, but the company is there to provide higher quality of life of people. you
Yeah.
know it's
Yeah.
it's an energy exchange, but in practice, I'm not, I don't know, I wouldn't say like they don't want to do it. I just think that they don't know how to do it,
Mm.
because like the old way is so embedded in their system, they don't know how to do it. But I'm here to show them how to do it, because this is my natural way. This
Mm.
is who I am. This is my natural way. And
Right.
even if like 90% of companies or whatever, they are not using it, like they have it in them. So when they go on this level and I help them to go on this level, like they're so like it's completely, it's another world of solutions, and it's another world of opportunities and the connection, and it's different. And I'm
It
here
is.
to expand awareness and to expand these perspectives. How can you see things?
When I coming from like a large multinational corporation, there and being in the office all the time and having like these philosophical debates with district managers and all these people with these really high titles, it's interesting to get to see not only their perspective but try to empathize with them. A lot of the times would be in this crucial conversation and I would be bringing up what I thought was a great point, and I would be answered back with, well, you think you're entitled to that? And my answer is like, yeah, I think I am. I think I am entitled to that. And but it's weird, this idea of entitlement and how that gets used as language in the workforce. Like it becomes this sort of double-edged sword where people that are higher up, so you're not entitled to that. You haven't earned that. But if they would just turn the mirror around and ask themselves the question, like, well, have you earned it? And who are you to decide that? But what is your, like, what do you think about this term entitlement that's used to whipsaw us versus them, management versus workers? And it's just this weird sort of tool that's used against people. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. In my, for example, the slogan of my company is
Okay.
true value of people.
I love it.
True value of people. That means that and also free spirit, human capital, because it's like, oh, capital, it's connected to money, da da da, whatever, you can understand like how you choose to understand, but it's free spirit. So free
Right.
spirit, human capital, what we have, the capital that we have within, that we
Mm-hmm.
have inside of us. Yeah. And of course, an entitlement, it's 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 really, I'm not going to say, oh, it's wrong or it's not wrong, but like you already said, like you have to put the mirror. It's a good
Yeah.
chance, for a person to get this mirrored image of themselves, of how they
Yeah.
will react in this situation. Because when you put somebody in submissive position, when you think that you
Hmm.
are more, than somebody else, you ask, like, compared to who, like based on
Mm.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I talk to people and it's like, okay, I'm so much, for example, oh, I'm not good enough, I don't know this, or like I have this kind of people when they
Yeah.
are want to present themselves. So it's like, so who are you comparing to? You are going to help people who didn't reach the point that you are in today. So basically, there are so many people that you can support, absolutely, when somebody is deciding to go on their own path or whatever. But entitlement is more about, they are defining themselves as something superior.
Mm.
So it really, like, for example, I know that we are entitled, or like it's our right when we were born, to have abundance.
Yes.
We are entitled to all this stuff, but when you are entitled, when you think that you are entitled to something just because you are more than somebody else, well, that basically it's not energy alignment. Yeah. And
Right.
if there is no energy in this alignment, it's gonna crumble. It's not sustainable because it needs to be energy like aligned. And especially now these days, when people are, I have a feeling, that people, a lot of people, they are scared. They're
Yes.
really, really scared. So they are grabbing, they want to, they want to take as much things as possible just to show their
Yeah.
value, because
Yeah.
they have to fill this hole inside them. And whoever is doing that, it's just on surface level, but they are feeling, it's not about the money and it's not about the title, whatever. They are just feeling this hole that they have on subconscious level or in their heart or in their soul, and it's not going to be filled. And sooner or later, maybe this is short term solution for them. Yeah, they can have some time, like they can have fun, they can have some time with it, but in long term it doesn't work like that, because the soul know its way. So yeah. And like I said, like if somebody's putting themselves in superior position, I don't believe that's sustainable.
Yeah.
um yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think if we all see it, and the truth is we probably all done it. We probably all put ourselves in a position where I'm better than this person. And I think that's something people can think about, or at least it's really helped me. Looking back on the situations where I've done that, I'm like, oh, I did it for these reasons. And but the more honest you can be with yourself, the more you can really get out of it. You'd be like,
Yeah.
you know what? I did it for these 4 reasons right here. And that's and then later in life, when someone does it to you, you'll have some empathy and be like, oh, they think this. And it allows you to have some empathy, be like, oh, okay. Now I'm not so angry at them. Now I kind of feel sorry for them because they're going through this thing that I went through. And man, I remember what it was like when I fell from that position. And I see these people building them up in this position. Like, the idea that you're greater than somebody is a really slippery slope. It really,
So easy to judge. It's so
yeah, it's so
easy to judge.
easy.
Like,
So
are you
easy.
familiar with non-jar, the concept?
Non-jar. No. What can you tell
Non-jar,
me about
yeah,
it?
this is really
Okay.
interesting. So it's non-judgment, non-attachment, and non-resistance.
I love it.
So it's the concept that I've been using for quite a while now in
Hmm.
my life, but it's so simple. It's like non-jar. So non-judgment, non-attachment, non-resistance. And every single situation, every single interaction that you have with people,
Yeah.
you can use it. Like you can integrate that.
Yeah.
And like what we are masters, like we are champions. Human beings are champions in judging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then when you ask, shit, why do I think about this person this? There is absolutely no reason why I think about this person the way I think. And of course, when you ask yourself this and when you dive deep, you find you come across this wound or inner child or whatever. But the thing is, like, judgment, when we will stop judging each other, I think then the world, will become this divine place, where everybody will have everything. Um, and when we were talking also about the
Yeah.
company and the teams,
Mm.
I wanted to mention, because this thought came by. It's There are three things. So it's integrity, authenticity, and responsibility. Yeah.
Mm.
So when a person, especially a leader, has all three things, so integrity,
Hmm.
authenticity, and responsibility. And it's not only about leadership. I think that every single human being, when they take responsibility for the reality that they have created, like we have created around ourselves, and we always need to, like in every interaction, in every relationship or whatever, we always need to learn how to take responsibility for that. It's not about being guilty. It's not about, to judge yourself or whatever, to put yourself down, but it's just like taking responsibility.
Right.
Yeah. And I think it would be so much easier. And of course, authenticity, that you are who you really are, but also integrity. There's, integrity is super powerful word if you take it and you use it the right way. Um, and yeah, it can be so easy. It can be so easy. But when you are driven by a survival instinct, and a lot of people are, because
Hmm.
why they are afraid to do this, crucial or initial step. For example, Shanaz told me,
Yeah.
she is saying, like, when you change one thing, you change everything.
Yeah.
This is quantum way of thinking. Like, when you change one thing, you change everything, because then, the timeline changes and you are deciding. And when you don't see the future yet, you don't see this reward yet, but if you believe that you can come there,
Yeah.
if you believe, if you have faith in you, then it's going to happen. It's not going to be easy, but you have the power how you see things, every situation. You have the power how you react to everything that come across your, to your path. And when me and you, for example, are talking about this kind of stuff, and your podcast and everything, like what is happening around you, when people are listening to this, like, we are all creating this ripple effect. And I'm
Yeah.
so enjoying, conversation like this.
Yeah.
I am. It's like, woo, even my sore throat is healthy now. I'm feeling so much better. Um, but yeah, I think that now it's time that, everything like this, it goes mainstream. It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yep.
So people see that it can be done differently. Like, we cannot push them, we cannot convince them, we can just show them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting to think about how often we think about an illness as being contagious, but so too is wellness. Wellness is contagious. When you see someone that has something and you're like, wow, look at this person seems so happy. And it's not they have all this stuff together. Like, how did they get that? It's contagious. Like you want to be like that in the same way when, you know, people are ill, you're like, maybe the alignment is different where like you don't want to get it, but if you see it and you're around it, you're probably going to catch it. I think the same is true for good positive things. If you're around, like when you were knocking on doors and you found yourself in this environment where it was negatively charged, and like someone answers the door and you realize this person is under a lot of stress. They're working with things, they're trying to make the best that they can, and they can't cope. Look at the environment. Like they don't really have a chance on some level. And you catch that. Like if you're in that environment, you catch it. So too, if you're in an environment surrounded by five really positive people, or maybe those five positive people are three books and two podcasts, but you can catch it. You can catch that wellness. You can catch that spirit, and it can drive you on some level, right? Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, there are two things, and you're
Okay.
talking this,
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. So you can take a piece of paper and write down two words. So one is illness, the other one is wellness. What is the difference? What is the difference? Tell me.
Wellness and illness.
Yeah.
I think like two letters.
Which one?
W and E. We.
Ex- Exactly. And what is with
That's so
illness? What is
crazy.
what is illness?
I.
Exactly.
That's amazing. That's amazing to think about. Wow.
You see,
Il- Illness comes from the attachment to
ego,
I or being alone, ego. Is that what it is?
ego. Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
It's
I've never
the
heard that
me, me,
before.
me, 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 me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And wellness is when you are sharing, when you are connected, when you are a part of this one
Yeah.
unity, when you are a
Yes.
part of a whole. So when you isolate, when you are ego driven, or when it's like all about me, I'm the most important, it's not healthy.
Yeah.
So that's good, yeah.
That is amazing. I've never heard that in my life, but I'm gonna use that all the time. It makes so much
Yeah, do
sense.
it. Do
Yeah.
it, do it. And
Wow.
another way that you mentioned, how we actually can influence other people is also, there was one study. It's actually, everything is scientifically proven. Heart Math Institute, they did it, because they are measuring also heart coherence. So
Okay.
uh, in HRV, so that's heart rate variability.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar. We're not
No.
gonna dive deep, but anyway, like picture, that there was a study that it was a table of in the office or in a
Okay.
space, and there were four people around it. Yeah,
Mhm.
and three people that all of them, so four people, they were wearing a heart rate monitor, so for
Okay.
measuring also heart coherence. So three people, they were empowered with this knowledge, with this technique, to shift in and out of your coherent state. So you get in touch with your heart, so whether it's heart focused breathing or it's like
Mhm.
quick coherence. So that means that you are heart focused breathing, and then you think of something that you love, and then you radiate that feeling, of
Yeah.
love, of appreciation, of gratitude. So you can do that as we speak. You don't have to really meditate. Like,
Right.
you can do wherever. You can do in the office, you can do at the meeting, you can do at the bus, when you're driving, whatever. So there was this study, and people were sitting around the table, and three people, they were empowered with this technique. But the fourth person, they had like he had or she had like no idea what is going on, because like nobody told him or her. It's like he was just working. And when they were doing their technique, when they were radiating love, when they were going into this or getting into this coherent state, the fourth person monitor also showed that he or she was in coherent state, even though like they had no idea what was going on. So on subconscious level, a lot of things is happening. And
Mm.
that's why I really encourage companies or teams, that whoever is in coherent state is definitely influencing also on others.
Right.
And when you are repeating with that behavior, it's gonna be, like
Yeah.
the energy will be building, like,
Yep.
and something will change sooner or later. Something will change. So it's really fascinating. What can we do without words? What can we do, without any, I would say, actions? I mean, there are actions, but they are not
Yeah.
seen, because a
Right.
lot of people, they think, oh, I don't see it, it doesn't exist. It's not like that. There are so many things
Yeah.
we cannot
Yeah.
really see, but they do exist. Um, so yeah, that's also one powerful thing.
I love the idea of the heart frequency and the magnetic field. And when I think about that, I think about vibrations. And vibration thing makes me think about a beautiful song. Sometimes we're drawn to this beautiful voice, and probably different for different people, but that's a vibration too. In some way, a beautiful voice is calling to you, a melodic voice that you want to be around. So too is your. It sounds like maybe your heart frequency is doing the same thing on some level. Is that accurate?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, vibrational frequency is,
Yeah.
it can be in so many different forms.
Yeah.
For example, our emotions, like it really depends in what kind of emotional state you are. That
Right.
also influences your vibrational frequency. And then the sound, of course, it's absolutely amazing. For example, frequencies, yeah.
Mhm.
Like if you're listening to um, um, I have this wow, what is it? I think it's 532
Mm.
hertz is the love frequency. Yeah. And then you have, they say in our now, in mass media, like mainstream, there's a lot of music, like everything on the radio and TV is like 440, which is
Mhm.
pretty harmful.
I heard that.
I mean, Shanaz would know so much more
Yeah,
about
yeah,
this. We
totally.
can have a chat about
Let's
that,
do
but
it.
yeah, definitely. But you can feel like when you are in a higher vibrational state or when you are in lower vibrational state. That's for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. And when you have this self awareness, when you are thinking about yourself and the world around you as a vibrational thing, that you are a vibrational entity. We are energy being that we are vibrating, and every single level and everything around us is vibrating, everything.
Yeah,
Then it becomes, yeah, everything changes. Like perspective of the world and the reality that you live in and everything. Also situations, like what kind of vibrational frequency you emit, that these that kind of people and situation you attract
you're right.
in your life. So there were, a lot of studies as well. I mean, people can read about it. But for example, if you are walking down the street and you admit this fear, oh, I'm gonna be attacked, I'm gonna be attacked,
Yeah,
like they're bad guys or robbers, so like they're picking
yeah,
victims, that they emit this kind of energy
yeah,
because they are afraid of being attacked, like also in maybe on subconscious level or whatever, so
yep.
basically it's like a lot of things is happening. You are attracting a lot of things in your life. Maybe you are aware of it or not, but it's so much easier when you get into this, like when you get to this point, if you understand what's happening. So you can have some control over it, definitely. So higher
Yeah.
the vibration, better life you will create for yourself.
It's interesting. I read a book not too long ago where they talked about grasshoppers, and grasshoppers, when they meet a certain threshold, when they come together and there's enough grasshoppers, then they fundamentally change their form and become locusts. And it's
Oh, wow.
interesting to, yeah, it's fascinating to, I'll think of the title in a minute. But so imagine a group of individuals comes together, and then when there's enough of them, they physically change their form to become a different thing. And the same thing on some level, I'm a firm believer that we can watch nature and begin to understand our own behavior by watching the patterns in nature. And the same
Yeah.
thing happens in groups
Biomimicry,
sometimes.
yeah, as well. Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. And if you look at like group dynamics, that same thing tends to happen. Sometimes when we get a run in a group, maybe we don't have a thought about something, but all of a sudden we start feeling this thing like, yeah, you know what? I kind of think that too. And we act in a different way than we would if we were alone. Like sometimes they call it like a mob mentality. It doesn't have to be a mob mentality. It has a negative connotation to it, but
Mm.
it's interesting to think about group dynamics. And when you were speaking about the heart frequency, like why wouldn't people change their tune or get into alignment when we come into group? There's another great book called oh gosh, it's called Black Elk Speaks. And in that book, this he was a young man at the time, but he's telling the story from an older man's point of view, and he talks about a time when his people were coming together and they were dancing to celebrate. But at this point in time, they were being rounded up by people in the West. And the people in the West, like, hey, knock it off, man. What are you guys doing? They were just dancing because they were celebrating the fact that they still had each other. And it freaked the
Mhm.
people out so bad they attacked them. And it's just interesting to think about how our vibrations can fundamentally shift the views of everyone around us and put them into states of fear. And it brings up bigger questions of like, maybe that's why the media is constantly radiating fear out there, on some
Of
level.
course, because fearful people, people who are scared, it's easier to
Yes.
control. That's
Yes.
yeah.
So do you think that there's clearly people at the top that are aware of these particular rhythms and these things that we're talking about that are trying to figure out ways, how do we maintain a populace that's in control and not doing things? You think there's people that are using these things against us?
I'm sure.
Yeah, they
I
gotta
mean,
be.
yeah, it's definitely happening, but
We
I'm
have the
not
antidote.
focusing. Yeah, I'm not
Right.
focusing on this thing. I
Right.
know that it exists. Okay, that's their reality, but it does, like, if there's chaos around me, in outer world,
Yes.
it doesn't have to be chaos in my world, because
Right.
we all have our own realities. So I don't know, I don't listen to news, I don't listen to, I
Right.
don't watch TV so much. For example, on my social media, when I open my social media, I only left positive
Yeah.
content. Like I deleted or blocked all the people or
Yeah.
companies or whatever,
Yeah.
or organizations who are sharing information that I
Right.
wasn't resonating with. So I deleted that. So every time when I open my social media accounts or whatever, I only see high vibrational content, which is, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
That's my fuel. Um, but yeah, there are a lot of people who have different intentions.
Sure.
Um, I wouldn't go there because I'm really more focused on this heart energy,
Right.
because like every human being, we have a heart.
Right.
I I firmly believe that, and we have the ability, to generate heart energy, and
Yeah.
when we connect each other, like, I don't care, if we are different races, if we are different statuses or whatever, like, but when we are connected on human level, it becomes easier. It becomes
Yeah.
easier to make business, it becomes easier to have relationship, it becomes easier to empower each other, it becomes easier to create something amazing, but not
Yeah.
only for ourselves, me, like illness, but for humanity, for everyone. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I really think that the keys to becoming your authentic version of yourself is understanding that there's a lot of things you can't control, but there are some things that you can control the meaning for yourself. And if you can become the best version of yourself, then you influence the world to become the best version of you. So regardless of what's happening around you, it's really
Yeah,
easy to get sucked into some of these things that are like, oh, this or that. And like they may or may not be true, but you can't control any of it. And so it
yeah,
tends to
exactly.
be a waste of time. And maybe it's entertaining, and if people are entertained, so be it. But
A rabbit hole. It's a
yeah,
rabbit
yes,
hole.
there you go.
Everything is
There you
such a
go.
rabbit hole.
Yeah,
So, I also, like, what I say to people, just whatever I'm saying, whatever
yeah,
I'm teaching, whatever I'm sharing, just take bits and pieces of information that you resonate with,
yeah,
and then you create your own truth. And this is what I'm doing, you know, everything. I'm not diving deep into anything because I have my own wisdom, but I am,
yeah,
looking around, taking bits and pieces of information, and then I'm creating my own reality based on what I know, what I feel, what I believe, and of course, what I learn every day, because it's all about learn, unlearn, and relearn. And this is the process that a lot of people, they are afraid. They are afraid to it, because they learn, and if you learn something, that you think that you know everything, but it's not like that. You have to be willing to unlearn
yeah,
and relearn. You have to let it go. You cannot, cling to something that
yeah.
you think is absolute truth. So
It's interesting that you say like let it go or unlearn. On some ways, I think we both describe that in our journeys of going through this thing and learning these things, and then it feels
mhm,
like the world's crumbling down around you. Well, maybe you're just unlearning this old version
yeah,
of you, right?
yeah, yeah. Letting go, letting go. There's this
Yeah,
saying is, if you are, for example, people who are listening, maybe they will
right.
take it, like, they will integrate in their life. So if you have something, whether it's a past experience or something like dreams or a person, ex-partner or whatever, and you are really holding, like, I don't want to, or maybe it's like existing thing, yeah,
Yeah,
like I
yes.
have this dream life or whatever, like I have to hold on tight. I have to hold everything. So I don't want to let it go. I don't want to lose it. Yeah. And somebody, like, up there in the universe is like, oh, I want to send this person a gift, but
Yeah.
I cannot because her hands are full. So
Yeah.
when you when you let it go, when you let it go and you just let things to flow their way, your hands are empty and you
Yeah.
can receive gifts.
Yeah.
Before that, you cannot, because your hands are full, because you're holding on to something. So that was also something that really helped me. So
That's
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, it's interesting to think about it that on that level. And for me, it helps to empathize with people that aren't they're holding on to stuff so tight. They care about it. They love it. It's important to them. They don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes
But
if you
nothing is really ours, isn't it?
nothing, nothing's even real most of the time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's hard
And
to learn
we
that though.
yeah, it's not about losing something.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, of course, like when you lose a person, a loved ones or whatever, that's completely different
Yeah.
situation. And yeah, your soul decided to go through that experience, which is, super painful. But
Hmm.
we are holding on to a lot of really, really unimportant, like really, really unimportant things or situations or whatever,
Yeah.
because we think that when we will lose something, our life will end. Yeah,
Mm.
because we will, our identity was like, oh, what I'm going to do if I lose this,
Yeah.
what I'm going to do, I cannot do this. Oh, I cannot lose my job because I'm will not be able to pay, rent or whatever. But how do you know there's not a better job lining up for you, by the
Yeah.
universe? Because when
Yeah.
you set the intention, when you really, really trust the process, when you really
Mm.
know that you are never alone, that you have army of supporters around you, like invisible and visible ones,
Yeah.
then it becomes, I said it so many times, but it does become easier. It really becomes easier. But people are so, so, so afraid
Hmm.
to let go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a book called "Good is the Opposite of Great." That reminds me of the idea of letting go of some things in your life that might be good because you can be better. And I
Yeah.
in
And
another
when
life,
you
yeah, please.
yeah, so sorry to interrupt. So when you are like your life, like when you're thinking about it and you are scared and you don't
Hmm.
do it, I'm certain that sooner or later your life or universe or whatever will take care of it, but in a more painful way.
Hmm.
So when you have a chance to do something, just do it. When your intuition is showing you the path, just do it. Otherwise, life is going to force you and
Yeah.
you are going to do it sooner or later, but it's going to be so much more difficult.
Yeah, that's listening to your heart right there. That's like you get there's little tremors before the earthquake. But if you
Oh
wait till
yeah.
the earthquake, it's gonna be a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
gonna survive and eventually it's gonna be better, but and you're gonna everything will be rebuilt
Right.
after. But you can you know you have the chance, like there are signals everywhere. So if you listen to your heart, if you listen to your intuition, you can actually save up a lot of money and not money, energy and time, and
Hmm.
eventually also I'm pretty sure money in a way, um, because transformations in this time now when the frequency is rising, it like they're happening so fast. Everything is happening so fast.
Yeah.
Tomorrow everything can be different, like some little thing can happen that can completely change the trajectory of your life. So um, we have to be open for that.
Yeah. It's like Shinaz says, if you change one little thing, you change everything. And that's so
Every
welcoming, right?
yeah.
It's so nice to know that you can do that. Anya, I love our conversation. This has been amazing. Coming up on like 2 hours right here. How you
Oh
doing
my
on
God,
time?
already.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yep.
That was fast.
I know it flies by like that. And we should do more shows together. We should get more people in the room because I think that would facilitate some more interesting ideas than we already have. We should do stuff more often. And I hope people, but
Yeah, maybe
before,
you, me, and Shanaz, all three of us. So
absolutely. I would love
yeah.
it. Let's definitely do that.
Yeah.
let's make it something on the regular. I really enjoy learning and promoting awesome conversations and getting to have cool opportunities like this. But before I let you go, before we start landing the plane, maybe you can tell people like what you have coming up, where they can find you, what you're excited about.
Wow, yeah, there's so many things I'm
Yeah,
excited about,
let's
but
hear them.
basically, I'm involved in so many different projects, but
Hmm.
I would definitely mention like human design AI. So
Hmm.
whoever wants to dive into human design, like if you have idea what what that is, or if you have no idea what that is,
Hmm.
just check it out and get some empowerment. Like you really can empower yourself. You will have information that will be so valuable for your
Hmm.
life, like in a moment, because it's the integration. Like I said, it's artificial intelligence and human design, and it saves a lot of time, to get this information that usually you would have you would need to dive deep. You would spend a lot of time to get into that information that you can have now in an instant
Yeah.
moment. So human design AI, and there's another thing that is called so the soul compass. I would really recommend you to check out that. The soul compass, I'm a pilot user for this amazing company that we are gamifying. I mean, their intention is to gamify flow. So we are now monitoring our flow state, and we have our own Telegram group, and we are exchanging data. We are exchanging, oh,
Yeah.
when we are in our flow state, and we are sharing that. So we are learning so much about ourselves. And everybody, I mean, everybody, like you can apply. I'm pretty sure you will be accepted if you apply for a pilot user,
I
and
will.
you can be. That's absolutely amazing, because we are now pilot users, and but the world is going that way, because they
Yeah.
want to really motivate people to work on themselves, to get into this flow state, and whoever is in flow state, they will be rewarded in the future. And the world, everything will be around that. So the soul compass and token of me is amazing company that I'm also supporting. And there is, of course, octopus movement.
Yeah. Right.
Yay, Perry! Shout out to
What
Perry and
up?
everyone. So yeah, Octopus Movement, I'm a founding member as well, is the amazing community of incredible people,
Hmm.
because I also believe that nonlinear thinking is the future, that we have to make a
Yeah.
synergy between linear and nonlinear, and then all the magic can happen. Um, so it's the octopus movement, and of course my company, Free Spirit Human Capital. I am supporting founders, I am supporting companies to raise their vibrational frequencies, to raise the
Hmm.
vibrational frequency of their companies, so they can attract the best possible talent. And I'm also helping people when they are going through spiritual awakening, when they are longing for career change, and how to present themselves, how to integrate that part of life into their career. So that's my mission, and also what we are doing with Shanaz, just as Quantum. So it's on YouTube, but people can reach me on LinkedIn, and I also have Pick My Brain profile. That's another platform for sharing knowledge, which is super cool. So yeah, a lot is going on, but the main purpose is just to have fun, because I see everything as a playground. My
Yeah.
life is a playground. Everything what we are doing is a playground, and I just want to be driven by excitement, by fun, and to just radiate this love, and to show people it's not easy, but it's so much easier when we are together, that nobody is alone.
I love that. That's so well said. If you're listening to this, whether it's morning or evening, or maybe you're in your car driving, maybe it's a month, maybe it's 5 years from now, but I hope that you reach down to the show notes and you check out Anya and check out everything that she's going into and she's talking about. I really enjoy the conversation and I look forward to this being one of many cups of tea that we share for quite some time. It's it's so cool to get to see all the projects that you're involved in. But more than that, I think what really helps me enjoy the projects you're involved in is learning how you got there and learning the ways in which you dealt with some traumas in your life. And I love that you're vulnerable about that and you share that with people, because I think that's really what we're here to do is help people like us. We're all like us. We're all going through some
We are
things that make it beautiful.
authentic and we are not perfect.
Yeah.
Like we all have our own shit to deal with. Otherwise, we
Yes.
wouldn't be here. Yeah.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
when we are empowering each other, when we are learning about ourselves through the lens of interacting with other people and the situation that we
Yeah.
have to deal with, it's mega powerful. And I love it. I love, that I'm also creating this safe
Yeah.
space for people that they can do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. It's fascinating. I'm so stoked to get to thank you very much for everything. I really,
Thank
really enjoy
you.
it.
I really enjoyed it as well. So, like you said, let's continue with this.
Yeah.
This was just the beginning.
It's just beginning. We'll hang on
Perfect.
briefly afterwards. I'm going to hang up with the people, but I
I
wanted to
will.
talk to you briefly afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you realize how amazing you are, and there's a miracle, probably a lot of them getting ready to happen to you. If you just have the courage to take a chance, if you got to tiptoe up to it, do whatever you got to do. Listen to the voice in your heart, and I promise you, your life will begin to unfold in front of you in ways that you can't possibly imagine. That's all we got for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a wonderful day or evening. Aloha. All right.